Prologue, Echoes of the Past. It was a dark night when archaeologist Dr. Anya Patel discovered something in the ancient city of Mohenjo-Daro that would forever change her perspective on history. Among the ruins, she found a piece of material that resembled glass, but was significantly damaged by high temperatures. After analyzing it, she realized it was remnants that could only be created by an atomic explosion. This discovery sparked a wave of questions about humanity's past and whether we had once gone through self-destruction. Chapter 1: Technological Progress and Global Challenges, 2020 to 2030. Part 1: The Dawn of a New Era. In the year 2027, the world stood on the brink of enormous change. Technological innovations were becoming an integral part of daily life. Artificial intelligence and quantum computers began permeating all areas, from medicine to financial markets. Scientific advancements brought new discoveries that increased our understanding of the universe and the human body. Dr. Anya Patel, a renowned archaeologist and expert on ancient civilizations, had just returned from an expedition in Mohenjo-Daro. Her discoveries suggested that this ancient civilization might have possessed technologies that were on par with, or even more advanced than our own. The material she found raised many questions and doubts. Could it be possible that this civilization underwent self-destruction similar to the threat we now faced? Anya met with her colleague, Dr. Daniel Kim, an expert in quantum physics. Together, they began exploring the possibilities of how ancient civilizations could have achieved such a level of technological advancement. Their research led them to the idea that there might be cyclical patterns in human history that lead to the rise and fall of civilizations. Part 2: Challenges and Threats. However, technological progress also brought new challenges. Climate change was becoming increasingly urgent. Global temperatures were rising, glaciers were melting, and rising sea levels threatened coastal areas. More frequent extreme weather events, such as hurricanes and droughts, affected millions of people. Social unrest was growing, the gap between the rich and the poor was widening, and political polarization was reaching unprecedented levels. Migrations caused by climate change and economic problems were creating tensions between countries and regions. In this chaos, new alliances and conflicts were forming, threatening global stability. One of the largest meetings took place in New York, where world leaders were trying to find solutions to the mounting problems. Anya and Daniel met with politicians, scientists, and activists to present their discoveries and proposals for addressing global issues. Their ideas were often met with enthusiasm, but also resistance. Many powerful players in politics and corporations feared that their plans could threaten their short-term profits. Part 3: New Discoveries. In the year 2027, Anya and Daniel made a groundbreaking discovery. While analyzing ancient texts and artifacts from Mohenjo-Daro, they found evidence suggesting that this civilization might have developed advanced technologies, including something akin to atomic weapons. Their findings indicated that ancient scientists and engineers had a deep understanding of physical laws and were able to apply them at a level comparable to our current technology. These discoveries sparked a significant interest in academic circles and among the public. Many began to ask whether we could learn from history and avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Anya and Daniel became spokespersons for a new wave of scientists and thinkers striving to find ways to ensure a sustainable future for humanity. Part 4: Cooperation and Conflicts. Anya and Daniel participated in international conferences and meetings with political leaders to present their discoveries and proposals for addressing global issues. Their ideas were often met with enthusiasm but also resistance. Many powerful players in politics and corporations feared that their plans could threaten their short-term profits. One of the most important meetings took place in the year 2028 in Geneva, where the World Sustainability Conference was held. Anya and Daniel presented their vision of global cooperation and responsible technological development. Their proposals included international agreements on resource sharing, environmental protection, and technological collaboration. At the conference, they encountered various reactions. Some countries, especially those facing the most significant ecological and economic challenges, welcomed their proposals with enthusiasm. Others, which had strong economic interests in fossil fuels and traditional energy, opposed their plans. One of Anya and Daniel's biggest supporters was the president of the small island nation of Tuvalu, which faced existential threats due to rising ocean levels. President Amina Katoa became their close collaborator, and together they worked on garnering support for their initiatives. On the other hand, large corporations such as Global Energy Corp and some powerful countries like the United States and China tried to block their initiatives. These entities had enormous influence and resources, allowing them to manipulate public opinion and political decisions. Part 5. Personal challenges. Anya and Daniel faced not only professional challenges but also personal problems. Their constant travel and workload took a toll on their personal lives. Anya began to feel the pressure and anxiety from the constant battle against forces trying to maintain the status quo. Daniel, on the other hand, faced pressure from his academic colleagues who criticized him for abandoning traditional scientific research in favor of applied policy. Their relationship went through various phases. There were moments when they felt lonely and isolated, but also moments when they found strength and support in each other. Their relationship became stronger and deeper as they realized that their shared goal was greater than any personal difficulties. One day, after a challenging negotiation with a delegation from India, Anya and Daniel decided to spend the evening together, walking along the shore of Lake Geneva. During this walk, they shared their fears and hopes, which helped them regain energy and determination to continue their efforts. Part 6. Breakthrough discoveries. In the year 2030, Anya and Daniel made breakthrough discoveries that had the potential to change the direction of their research. While analyzing ancient texts and artifacts from Mohenjo-Daro, they discovered coded messages indicating the presence of advanced mathematical and physical principles. These principles were the foundation for technologies that could be used to address current global problems. Their discoveries sparked enormous interest in academic circles and the media. Many scientists and engineers began exploring how these ancient principles could be applied to modern technologies. Anya and Daniel became leading figures in a new wave of research that connected history and the future. One of the most significant projects they worked on was developing a new form of energy based on quantum physics principles. This technology had the potential to replace fossil fuels and create a clean and sustainable energy source for the entire world. Part 7. Conflicts and compromises. Many countries and corporations began to fear that new technologies could threaten their economic interests. Reports of sabotage and attacks on research centers working on these technologies began to surface. Anya and Daniel faced increasing pressure and threats, but did not give up. In the year 2032, another major meeting was held in Paris, where Anya and Daniel tried to convince world leaders of the importance of their research and technologies. The meeting was tense and full of conflicts, but they eventually managed to reach a compromise. The world's powers agreed to support their research in exchange for certain economic and political benefits. This compromise was a difficult decision for Anya and Daniel, but they realized it was necessary to achieve their goals. Their efforts brought significant advances in energy and sustainability, but they still faced many challenges and obstacles. Part 8: Hope in the Darkness. The year 2033 brought new challenges as well as new opportunities. Anya and Daniel found themselves in the midst of a dynamic period when the world began to awaken to the reality of ecological and social crises that could no longer be ignored. At a meeting in Davos, they managed to push through the new Green Future program, which included global commitments to renewable energy sources, sustainable agricultural practices, and technology development focused on sustainability. One of the most significant initiatives within this program was the creation of an international research institute tasked with developing and implementing new technologies to address global problems. Anya and Daniel were appointed as leaders of this institute, and their team was composed of the best scientists and engineers from around the world. The institute was located on an island in the Atlantic Ocean, which was transformed into an ecological laboratory. This island became a symbol of hope and innovation, where groundbreaking technologies were developed that could change the world. Anya and Daniel found a new home and new challenges there, which gave them energy and motivation. Part 9: Heroes in the Shadows. In the year 2035, Anya and Daniel became targets of several sabotage attempts and assassination plots. Their work and successes began to threaten large corporations and political interests, trying to maintain the old order. To counter these threats, they created a secret network of allies around the world who worked covertly to support their initiatives. One of the most significant members of this network was former Secret Service agent Alexei Ivanov. Alexei was an expert in espionage and cybersecurity and became a key player in protecting Anya and Daniel. He collaborated with them to create security protocols and uncover conspiracies aimed at destroying their work. Another significant member of the network was Dr. Mei Ling, an expert in genetics and biotechnology. Mei was known for her groundbreaking discoveries in treating genetic diseases and became one of the leading scientists at the institute. Her work included developing new crops that could survive extreme climate conditions and researching ecological methods for restoring damaged old ecosystems. Part 10: The Pivotal Moment. In the year 2037, the world teetered on the brink of catastrophe. Ecological crises reached their peak, threatening to make many areas uninhabitable. Anya and Daniel knew they had to act quickly to prevent a global collapse. Together with their team at the Institute, they worked on developing new technologies that could reverse climate change and restore natural ecosystems. One of their most important projects was creating a global network of ecological reserves that would serve as sanctuaries for endangered species and provide space for the recovery of natural ecosystems. This project gained support from many countries and organizations, but also faced opposition from corporations interested in exploiting these areas for commercial purposes. During this critical period, Anya and Daniel encountered numerous obstacles and challenges. They had to face not only physical threats but also political and economic pressures. However, their determination and belief in a better future gave them the strength to continue. Part 11. The Turning Point. In the year 2039, the world reached a turning point. Climate change and ecological crises had escalated to such an extent that their consequences could no longer be ignored. World leaders convened at an extraordinary summit in Rome to decide the planet's future. Anya and Daniel presented their proposals for solving global problems and urged the world leaders to take necessary actions. Their speech was emotional and full of hope. Anya spoke about her discoveries and how we could learn from history and avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Daniel emphasized the importance of technological progress and the need for responsible use of technologies to protect the planet. Their words touched the hearts of many and brought new hope. At the summit, a historic agreement was reached. The world's powers committed to reducing emissions, protecting natural ecosystems, and supporting sustainable technologies. This success was the result of years of effort by Anya, Daniel, and their team who tirelessly worked to promote their vision. Chapter 2. Culmination and Crises, 2040 to 2050. Part 1. Energy Transformation. In the 40s of the 21st century, the world was in the midst of an energy transformation. Fossil fuels were becoming increasingly scarce, and renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power were becoming dominant. However, this transition was not without problems. Conflicts over resources and technological monopolies created tensions between countries and regions. Anya and Daniel were actively involved in projects supporting sustainable energy solutions. Their research from Mohenjo-Daro provided inspiration for new technologies and methods that could help overcome the energy crisis. They collaborated with international organizations and governments to implement these solutions globally. One of their greatest achievements was creating an international consortium for the development and implementation of new energy technologies. This project brought significant advancements in energy storage, allowing more efficient use of renewable sources. For example, new battery technologies based on quantum physics principles enabled the storage of vast amounts of energy with minimal losses, eliminating issues with irregular solar and wind power production. However, the energy transformation was not without challenges. Companies dependent on fossil fuels began losing their dominant positions, leading to economic crises and social unrest in regions reliant on extracting and processing these resources. Anya and Daniel tried to help affected communities adapt to new conditions and supported initiatives for worker retraining and the development of new ecologically sustainable industries. Their efforts yielded positive results. New industries began to emerge in many countries, combining traditional crafts with modern technologies. For example, in India, solar panels were manufactured using traditional craftsmanship techniques, creating new jobs and supporting local economies. In Africa, projects for the production and installation of small wind and solar power plants expanded, bringing electricity to remote areas and improving the quality of life for millions of people. Anya and Daniel became symbols of this global transformation. Their stories inspired many and showed that even small steps could lead to significant changes. They gained recognition and support from many governments, organizations, and ordinary people striving to follow their example. Part 2. Cybernetic Revolution and Social Changes. In the mid-40s of the 21st century, as the energy transformation began to bear fruit, the world found itself in the midst of another revolution, the cybernetic revolution. Artificial intelligence, quantum computers, and biotechnologies reached a level that enabled radical changes in all areas of life. Artificial intelligence became an integral part of everyday life. Robotic systems replaced humans in many work areas, from manufacturing to healthcare. Quantum computers allowed solving problems previously unimaginable. Biotechnologies brought new ways of treating diseases and improving human life. These technological advancements brought enormous benefits, but also new challenges. Anya and Daniel found themselves at the center of this revolution, striving to ensure that new technologies were used responsibly and ethically. They collaborated with international organizations and governments to create regulatory frameworks and ethical guidelines, ensuring that technologies would serve to improve people's lives and protect the planet. One of the greatest successes in the cybernetic revolution was creating a global artificial intelligence network called Gaia. Gaia was designed as a system to monitor and analyze global ecological and social problems and suggest solutions. This system was based on principles of transparency and accountability, ensuring that its decisions aligned with ethical guidelines and humanity's interests. Gaia became a key tool in combating climate change and social inequalities. It helped identify the most effective ways to reduce emissions, restore natural ecosystems, and improve the quality of life in poor and disadvantaged communities. Its analyses and recommendations became the foundation for many international policies and programs. Part 3: Conflicts and Compromises. Even though technologies brought enormous benefits, their implementation caused many conflicts. Many countries and corporations sought to gain control over new technologies and use them for their own interests. Anya and Daniel faced constant pressures and threats from powerful players trying to manipulate and exploit technological advancements. In the year 2045, a serious incident occurred when hackers attacked the Gaia system and attempted to misuse its capabilities to destabilize the global economy. This attack revealed the vulnerability of technological systems and highlighted the need for stronger security measures and international cooperation. Anya and Daniel, along with their team, worked to strengthen the security and resilience of the Gaia system. They collaborated with cybersecurity experts and created new protocols, ensuring the system's protection against attacks and manipulation. This incident also led to the formation of an international coalition to combat cyber threats and secure technological infrastructure. Part 4: Personal Challenges and Growth. During these turbulent years, Anya and Daniel had to deal with personal challenges as well. Their work and constant travel took a toll on their health and personal lives. Anya began to feel burnout and anxiety, while Daniel faced health problems caused by stress and overwork. Eventually, they realized they needed to find a balance between work and personal life. They started dedicating more time to themselves and their loved ones. Together, they decided to reorganize their priorities and focus on projects with the greatest potential for positive change. Their relationship became deeper and stronger as they realized that their shared goal was greater than any personal problems. They learned to support each other and find strength in shared moments. Together, they overcame obstacles and continued working to ensure a better future for humanity. Chapter 3: The Peak of Civilization and Potential Self-Destruction, period from 2060 to 70. Part 1: New Challenges and Innovations. In the 60s of the 21st century, the world was at the peak of technological and social progress. Artificial intelligence, quantum computers, and biotechnologies had reached a level that allowed for radical changes in all areas of life. New technologies brought enormous benefits, but also new challenges. Anya and Daniel found themselves at the forefront of this revolution, striving to ensure that new technologies were used responsibly and ethically. They collaborated with international organizations and governments to create regulatory frameworks and ethical guidelines that would ensure technologies served to improve people's lives and protect the planet. One of the greatest successes in the field of the cybernetic revolution was the creation of a global artificial intelligence network called Gaia. Gaia was designed as a system to monitor and analyze global ecological and social problems and propose solutions. This system was based on principles of transparency and accountability, ensuring its decisions aligned with ethical guidelines and humanity's interests. Gaia became a key tool in the fight against climate change and social inequalities. It helped identify the most effective ways to reduce emissions, restore natural ecosystems, and improve the quality of life in poor and disadvantaged communities. Its analyses and recommendations became the foundation for many international policies and programs. Part 2: Social and Political Tensions. Despite technological progress, the world still faced many social and political challenges. Technological changes brought new forms of inequalities and social tensions. Robotization and automation led to job losses, and many people found themselves on the margins of society. Political tensions grew as countries and corporations competed for dominance in new technological fields. Anya and Daniel realized that technological progress had to be accompanied by social and political reforms to be sustainable and fair. They collaborated with international organizations, governments, and civil societies to create policies that ensured the fair distribution of the benefits of technological progress. Their goal was to create an inclusive society that provided opportunities for all. One of the greatest challenges was ensuring that artificial intelligence and automation did not threaten jobs and social stability. Anya and Daniel supported initiatives for worker retraining and the creation of new jobs in areas less prone to automation. They also supported educational programs that prepared people for work in new technological sectors. Despite their efforts, many countries and regions still faced high unemployment rates and social unrest. Political tensions grew as countries tried to secure access to new technologies and resources. These tensions led to regional conflicts and international crises, threatening global stability. Part 3: The Threat of Self-Destruction. In the 70s of the 21st century, the world found itself on the brink of another crisis. Climate change reached a critical level, and many areas were threatened with becoming uninhabitable. Global ecosystems were on the verge of collapse, and social tensions had reached an unsustainable level. World leaders faced a decisive choice. Either they would act to save the planet, or the world would head towards self-destruction. Anya and Daniel knew they had to act quickly to prevent global collapse. Together with their team at the Institute, they worked on developing new technologies and strategies that could reverse climate change and restore natural ecosystems. Their research and innovations brought new hopes, but they also faced many obstacles. One of the greatest successes was the creation of a global network of ecological reserves, which served as sanctuaries for endangered species and provided space for the recovery of natural ecosystems. This project gained support from many countries and organizations, but also faced opposition from corporations interested in exploiting these areas for commercial purposes. At an international conference in Tokyo in the year 2072, Anya and Daniel presented their vision of global cooperation and responsible technological development. Their speech was emotional and full of hope. Anya spoke about her discoveries and how we could learn from history and avoid repeating the mistakes of the past. Daniel emphasized the importance of technological progress and the need for responsible use of technologies to protect the planet. Part 4. Cooperation and New Beginnings. Their speech touched the hearts of many and brought new hope. At the conference, a historic agreement was reached. The world's powers committed to reducing emissions, protecting natural ecosystems, and supporting sustainable technologies. This success was the result of years of effort by Anya and Daniel and their team, who tirelessly worked to promote their vision. The world began to undergo a period of recovery and transformation. Anya and Daniel continued their work, supporting new initiatives and projects that contributed to a sustainable future. They collaborated with young scientists and innovators who brought new ideas and energy to their efforts. Their work and successes became an inspiration for many and showed that even small steps could lead to significant changes. The world began to change and move towards a better future, where technologies and nature worked together to create a sustainable and fair world. Chapter 4. Reset and Renewal, period from 80 to 90. Part 1. Global Reset. In the 80s of the 21st century, the world found itself on the brink of another significant transition. After decades of experimentation, innovations and conflicts, humanity began to focus on a global reset, a collective effort to restore balance between technology and nature and to create a more just society. Anya and Daniel were at the forefront of this movement. Their experiences and successes from previous decades gave them a unique perspective and authority to lead this process. In collaboration with international organizations, governments, and civil initiatives, they began working on a global recovery plan. One of the key initiatives was the New Beginning project, which focused on restoring destroyed ecosystems and revitalizing affected communities. This project included extensive reforestation, wetland restoration, ocean cleaning, and biodiversity protection. The aim was not only to restore the natural environment, but also to create new opportunities for local residents. Part 2. Technological Sustainability. Technologies played a key role in the recovery process. Anya and Daniel collaborated with scientists and engineers to develop new sustainable technologies that would support ecological and social goals. Their work included developing new materials that were environmentally friendly and recyclable, as well as creating smart resource management systems that allowed more efficient use of water, energy, and land. One of the most significant technological advancements was the creation of green metrics, intelligent sensor networks that monitored the state of ecosystems and provided data necessary for informed decision-making. These networks allowed early detection of problems and quick responses to changes, enabling more effective protection and restoration of natural environments. Part 3. Social Justice. Anya and Daniel realized that technological and ecological recovery had to be accompanied by social justice. They collaborated with communities around the world to ensure that the benefits of recovery were fairly distributed and that no one was left behind. They supported initiatives for education and retraining, providing people with new skills and opportunities. They created programs to support small and medium-sized businesses that contributed to local economies and ecological sustainability. At the same time, they worked to ensure that new technologies were accessible to all and that the rights and dignity of every person were respected. Part 4. Global Cooperation. The success of the global reset depended on cooperation between countries and communities. Anya and Daniel worked on building international partnerships and alliances that would support common goals. Their efforts led to the creation of the Global Council for Sustainability, which coordinated efforts and resources on a global level. The council was composed of scientists, politicians, entrepreneurs, and representatives of civil society who worked together to create and implement strategies for a sustainable future. This cooperation brought significant progress in environmental protection, social justice, and technological innovation. Part 5. Personal Reflection. At the end of their lives, Anya and Daniel looked back on their journey. They had traveled a long and challenging path full of obstacles, but also great successes and joy. Their work and determination brought significant changes and inspired many future generations of scientists, innovators, and leaders. They realized that their efforts had not been in vain. The world began to change for the better, and humanity was learning from the past and striving to create a better future for all. Anya and Daniel remained symbols of hope and determination, inspiring the world to positive changes. Their story showed that even in the darkest moments it is possible to find light and that together we can overcome any obstacles. The world changed and grew, and their legacy lived on in all who strived to follow their example and contribute to a better world. Epilogue, Legacy and Future. Anya and Daniel lived their lives in service to humanity and the planet. Their work brought significant changes and inspired many future generations of scientists, innovators, and leaders. Their legacy continued in projects and initiatives that contributed to a sustainable future. The world still faced many challenges but also new opportunities. Humanity was learning from the past and striving to create a better future for all. Anya and Daniel remained symbols of hope and determination, inspiring the world to positive changes. Part 1. New Generations. In the following decades, young scientists, engineers, and activists continued the work that Anya and Daniel had started. New generations brought new ideas, technologies, and solutions, further pushing the boundaries of what was possible. Thanks to advances in artificial intelligence, biotechnologies, and renewable energy sources, humanity was able to adapt to changing conditions and ensure sustainable development. Young people around the world were inspired by the story of Anya and Daniel and engaged in projects that contributed to environmental protection and social justice. New initiatives and movements emerged, connecting communities and supporting global cooperation. Part 2. Technological Miracles. Technological progress continued at an unstoppable pace. Quantum computers reached a level that allowed solving the most complex problems, and artificial intelligence became even more sophisticated and accessible. Biotechnologies brought revolutionary methods for treating diseases and improving the quality of life. One of the greatest successes was the creation of self-sustaining biospheres, artificial ecosystems capable of functioning independently of external resources. These biospheres became a model for future colonies on other planets and allowed humanity to dream of expansion into space. Part 3. Social Evolution. Social and political systems gradually adapted to changing conditions. Democracies became more transparent and participatory, and new forms of governance allowed people to be more actively involved in decision-making processes. Society became more inclusive and just. contributing to the reduction of social inequalities. Education became more accessible and flexible, allowing people to acquire the necessary skills and knowledge to work in new technological sectors. Cultural and artistic movements contributed to the development of social awareness and supported dialogue between different communities and nations. Part 4. Continuing the legacy. Anya and Daniel left a profound legacy that inspired and motivated humanity to continually seek better solutions and create a sustainable future. Their work and successes were constantly remembered in schools, universities, and various public institutions around the world. Their story became a part of the global heritage and showed that even individuals could have a tremendous impact on the world. Anya and Daniel remained symbols of hope and determination, inspiring the world to positive changes. Conclusion. The story of Anya and Daniel shows that even in the most challenging times, it is possible to find hope and solutions that will bring positive changes. Their determination, innovation, and cooperation helped humanity overcome many challenges and create a better future for all. Their legacy lives on in everyone who strives to contribute to protecting the planet and creating a more just and sustainable society.